They told me the Philippines was dangerous, that it was dirty, chaotic, and full of scams. Tay told me to regret going there. But after what I saw, I realized they couldn't have been more wrong. When I first mentioned I wanted to visit the Philippines, people looked at me like I was crazy. Why the Philippines? They asked. You could go to Japan, Thailand, Banaue. There, some said it was unsafe. Some said it was poor. A few even said, you'll get kidnapped. I won't lie, those words got to me. I started doubting myself. Was I walking into a mistake? But deep down, I knew I couldn't judge a country by someone else's fear. So I did what any curious traveler would do. You went anyway. The moment I landed in Manila, it hit me, the noise, the smell, the traffic. The chaos, it was everything people warned me about. But beneath it, there was something electric. Something alive. Taxi drivers were cracking jokes. Strangers were smiling at me. Even the airport guard said, "Welcome home, sir." That word, home, stuck with me, because from that first hour, that's exactly what the Philippines felt like. On my second day, I lost my phone in a tricycle. My heart sank. Everyone had warned me about theft, so I thought, well, there it goes. But the next morning, that same driver showed up at my hotel, holding my phone with a big grin. He said, "Sir, I think this belongs to you." I was speechless. That moment shattered everything I'd heard. This wasn't the dangerous place people talked about. This was something else. This was real kindness. As the days went by, I started to see what most outsiders miss. The Philippines isn't just beaches and palm trees, it's people. It's the laughter in the middle of a traffic jam. It's strangers helping strangers. It's kids playing basketball barefoot and still smiling like they just won the world. Every corner I turned, someone was ready to help. Not for money, not for attention, just because that's who they are. But here's where it gets interesting. The more people I met, the more I realized the biggest lie about the Philippines wasn't that it es dangerous, it's that it es poor. Sure, the buildings might be old, and not everyone drives fancy cars. But I saw something richer than anything money can be: community, generosity, joy. People with almost nothing would still offer you food. A random family once invited me to dinner in Cebu just because I looked tired. We sat on plastic chairs, eating rice and fish, laughing like old friends. That is when I understood why so many travelers fall in love with this place. It is not just beautiful, it's human. Then came my first real challenge. I wanted to explore places off the tourist map. Locals told me about small islands barely known to travelers. Take, catch. There was no direct transport, no fancy resorts, and very little Wi-Fi. Perfect. I hopped on a bus, then a boat, then another smaller boat that looked like it had seen better days. The ride was rough. Waves crashed hard, and for a moment, I thought, maybe this was a bad idea. But when I finally reached the island, my jaw dropped. Crystal clear water, white sand that looked like sugar, palm trees dancing in the wind, no crowds, no noise. Just peace. But the real beauty wasn't the view, it was the people. Kids ran to greet me. An old man offered me coconuts. A woman smiled and said, "You are family now." And she meant it. That night, they invited me to a village gathering. They played guitars, sang songs, and shared stories under the stars. I didn't understand every word, but I understood the feeling belonging. The next morning, I walked along the shore, thinking about how wrong everyone had been. Back home, they showed the Philippines as a place of danger and poverty. But standing there, watching fishermen laugh as the sun rose, I thought, this is what the media never shows. The Philippines isn't broken. It's alive. It's messy, loud, emotional, and real. And maybe that's what scares people. It's too real. But not everything was perfect. I saw struggle too. In Manila, there were kids begging by the roadside. In some villages, people lived in homes made of wood and tinnied ort, tusaya. But even in those places, people smiled. They didn't hide their problems. but they didn't let them define them either. A mother once told me, "We don't have much, but we're still thankful." That sentence hit me like a punch to the chest, because where I came from, people complain about traffic, slow Wi-Fi, or their coffee being too cold. Here, people had every reason to complain, but they didn't. They laughed instead. That's when I realized the Philippines has mastered something the rest of the world forgot. Gratitude. Gratitude for small things. Gratitude for life itself. And that's what makes this country so special. I learned a word there by Anahan. It means helping each other, especially in tough times. When a house burns, neighbors rebuild it together. When someone's sick, everyone pitches in. That spirit is everywhere. You feel it in jeepneys. When people pass your fare to the driver. You feel it when strangers share food during typhoon. You feel it when a family you just met insists you eat first before they do. That's the heart of the Philippines. Then came the moment I'll never forget. I was in Siargao, watching a group of kids surfing with broken boards patched up with tape. They were laughing louder than the waves. I asked one of them, "Aren't you scared when you fall?" He looked at me and said, "Why be scared? The ocean always brings you back." That line stuck with me, because that's how Filipinos live. No matter how many times life knocks them down, they keep coming back, fighting, believing. I also noticed something unique about the Filipino accent. It's melodic, like it dances when people speak. I once asked a local if they were aware of how charming their accent sounds, and she laughed, saying, "It's just how we talk." But it's more than that. It's warmth in sound form. Even when they say simple words like thank you or good morning, it feels like a hug. No wonder people all over the world are falling in love with it. But here's the truth traveling in the Philippines. Iascent, T. Always EC. There are moments that test you. Bumpy roads, long boat rides, power cuts, heat that makes you sweat just by breathing. But somehow, none of it matters when you're surrounded by people who make you feel like family. When things go wrong, someone's always there to help. That's what makes it worth it. I remember one typhoon day in Lati. The sky turned gray, winds howled, and I was stuck in a small inn. I thought everyone would be panicking, but instead, the locals started cooking food and sharing it with everyone in the building. They sang songs while the storm raged outside. One woman said, "If we can laugh during a storm, we can laugh after it." That line defined the Philippines for me, Hope. That never dies. Over the next few weeks, I saw more beauty than I could put into words. El Nido's lagoons glowing at sunrise, the chocolate hills of Bohol looking like something out of a dream, the rice terraces of Banaue climbing into the clouds. Every place told a story, but it wasn't the views that changed me, it was the people behind them. Every fisherman, every tricycle driver, every child running by with a smile. They were the true landscape of the Philippines. When it was time to leave, I didn't want to. On my last night, I sat by the sea with a local named Jan. He asked me, "Did you enjoy our country?" I said, "More than I ever expected." He smiled and said, "Good. Tell the world we're not what they think we are." That hit me hard, because he was right. Too many people see headlines, not humanity. Too many see poverty, not pride. But if you spend even 1 week here, you'll see it the soul of the Philippines. I went there looking for beaches. I left with lessons. I learned that kindness is the strongest currency, that happiness doesn't come from what you have, but from who you have. That even in chaos, you can find peace. So, to anyone watching this who has been told not to go to the Philippines, don't listen. Go. See it for yourself. Talk to the people. Hit with them. Laugh with them. Let the country show you what real life feels like. Because once you do, you'll never be the same again. They told me not to visit the Philippines. I'm glad I didn't listen. Because that country didn't just change my mind, it changed my heart. If you liked this story, wait till you see what happened when I discovered the most underrated island in Asia. The next video on your screen right now.